So, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from, everyone. My name is Jesse, and I am with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. And we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. We're really excited for our hangout today. And before I introduce our speaker, I'll give our classes a chance to do a bit of a shout out. We've got Miss Caesar's grade 6s in Prince George, BC. Hi, guys. They're getting. We've got Miss Oysters' class who can't speak but can hear us in grade 4s in Thompson, Manitoba. We've got Mr. Warkoch's grade 2s in West Kelowna, BC, if they've arrived. Oh my God. I got really deep there. We've got Miss Price's grade 6s in Dutton, Ontario. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey. We've got Miss Morin's grade 3s in Stewiacke, Nova Scotia. Hi, guys. We've got Mr. Kozaczynski's grade 2s in Canton in Michigan. Hi, guys. Got a wave. We'll hear you later, we promise. And we've got Miss Shelton's grade 4-5s in Benicia, California. Hi, everyone.
Say hi.
Of course, the reason you guys are all here today is for our speaker. So we are joined live by Lindsay Obermeier. She is the director of the Raptor Program and Animal Ambassadors at the Schlitz Audubon Nature Center. And she is going to share with us today the wide and wonderful world of birds of prey. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining us, Lindsay.
Oh, thank you. It is completely my pleasure. And I'm so excited to be in everybody's classroom this morning. Again, my name is Lindsay, and I am stationed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at a little nature center called Schlitz Audubon Nature Center. We are so excited to share some of our wonderful birds with you today. A little bit of background. Well, first I want to pull over my assistant who's going to be helping us out. This is Corrine.
Hi,
so everybody wave hi to Corrine.
Hi.
So she'll be helping us out with the birds today, and she's going to go get one of them ready for us. So we actually are very lucky here at Schlitz Audubon to have a collection of 17 non-releasable birds that live with us. This nature center, Schlitz Audubon, is their forever home. They were out in the wild and got injured in one way or another, and I'll tell you about that when we meet these guys. And they went through rehab, which is kind of like, if you guys know of what a veterinarian is, it's a veterinarian for wildlife. So they went to go visit this rehabber, and they were deemed non-releasable. For some reason, they would not survive out in the wild. And so then they moved in with us. And now they're teaching as educators, and they're used to meeting a lot of people. Now they're going to be meeting my laptop. And so this will be really although we do have a couple birds that are not in that raptor category. But I want to teach you real quick about what a raptor actually is. So when we think of birds of prey, we think of, hopefully, birds that eat other animals. And this can be a big variety of birds. Like great blue herons are actually birds of prey. Vultures are birds of prey. And then we also think of like owls and eagles. And so raptors are a very specialized group of birds of prey, and they have 3 characteristics that make them amazing hunters. And so what I have here is actually to show you. This here is a plastic mold replica of a bald eagle skull. So it's not a real one, but it is about the size of what a bald eagle skull is. And you will notice this really sharp hooked upper beak. That is a characteristic of raptors. They use this beak like their knife and their fork, because in the wild, they're not flying around with these things. That would be a little weird. So they have to have all their tools right on their body. So this is our hooked upper beak. They also have very good eyesight, forward-facing eyes, and they can see for such a long distance. They say bald eagles can see almost like 100 yards away, like a whole length of a football field, and they have amazing eyesight. So we have eyesight, we have this hooked upper beak, and then most important, well, almost most important, this is also a plastic mold of a bald eagle foot, but the feet on a raptor is their #1 tool to help them catch their prey. So they're very strong feet and really sharp pointed talons. so we can get our first bird out who's going to show off these awesome tools. And when you think about he's saying hello already. When you think about what type of prey a raptor can eat, you want to think about the size of their foot because it's about as big as they can actually grab. So we're going to say hi to our first bird. I'm going to scooch over and give him some space. This right here, there we go, is Cutright. And Cutright is a peregrine falcon. And we're so, so lucky to have a beautiful peregrine falcon living here at Schlitz Audubon because the peregrine falcon is the fastest animal on the planet. So if you guys think of like a really fast animal, a lot of people think of cheetahs, right? And cheetahs can go about like 70 miles an hour, which is pretty fast. But peregrines, he's just easing the load there, peregrines can actually dive up to speeds of 240 miles an hour. He's showing just how spiffy he is, how quick he is. You will notice that Corrine here is wearing a very, very cool, fashionable leather glove. But our birds, there's actually a purpose for it, and it is because of those sharp talons and the strong feet. So it helps protect Corrine's hand, and then it also gives the bird something nice and stable to perch on. So, like I was saying, these birds are the fastest animal on the whole planet. Cutright here, if you can get a pretty good look at him, you will notice these three characteristics of a raptor. So he has those forward-facing eyes. He has that hooked upper beak. And then look at those feet. Those feet have really sharp talons, curved talons, and they're also extremely strong. Now I want to tell you a little bit about how peregrine falcons hunt because it's really unique. And it's actually, they use their speed in their hunting strategy. So falcons are totally built for speed. They're very, it's a big scientific word, very aerodynamic. So what that means is go shake all of his feathers out, get nice and comfy. What that means is that he can move through the air really quickly. So what he's also showing off are his long, narrow wings, and that makes him very aerodynamic and speedy. Also, his body is really long and narrow. So the way these guys hunt is they hang out really, really high in the air, and they wait for their prey to pass underneath them. And when that happens, they will then go into a dive. So they'll actually tuck their wings in, and they stick their neck out. And this dive is called a stoop. And when they are in this stoop is when they reach such high speeds, up to like 240 miles an hour. They're going so, so fast that right before they get to the prey, all they have to do is just make contact, like punch the prey. They can catch it in midair, and usually that in itself will just take care of the prey, and then they can carry it off to a perch and enjoy their well-deserved lunch. And that's our, like, the most fascinating thing about our beautiful peregrines. And now you can totally see his beautiful feet and his hooked upper beak. A little bit about our Cutright here is that he is 16 years old, and he is actually a retired falconry bird. So falconry is a sport where people will train and hunt with a bird of prey. So Cutright here did that for 13 years, and he was a really, really good falconry bird. And then it just came time for him to retire because he was getting a little older, and he moved into Schlitz Audubon, and now he's acting as a wonderful teacher. So, and he's also very excited to see all of you guys, but he's showing off his awesome wings and how well he uses them. So we will, everybody can wave goodbye to Mr. Cutright because we're going to go and meet our next bird. And I'm sure you guys do have some questions, and I know there's question answer at the end of this, right? I think, right? So keep those questions in your mind if you have any questions about our awesome peregrine. I want to show you, because Cutright was kind of showing you, but this is the wing of a peregrine falcon. So you can see how long it is and how narrow it is. And so this helps them just cut through the air so quickly. Now, the peregrine is a bird that we're going to see during the daytime. And that is what we call a diurnal animal. It is out during the day, just like most of us are. We're mostly diurnal. So we're going to switch from a diurnal bird to an animal that's active at night. And I bet you guys know. Do you know that that's big scientific name for an animal? It starts with an N. It is nocturnal. I bet that's what you guys were saying, right? Yeah, good job, good job. We're gonna invite our nocturnal animal over here. Now this handsome bird, I bet you guys know what kind of bird this is, huh? This is an owl. He is our beautiful 20-year-old barred owl. And right now he's checking out the whole space and he's sizing everything up. Now, owls, most owls are active at night. So they are nocturnal. You can see his big eyes. Look at that beautiful face. And these guys have a lot of special features on their bodies to make them really great hunters during the nighttime. So one thing Orion is showing off is how well he can rotate his head around. And he's showing off his beautiful wings too. So I bet you guys may have heard that owls can rotate their heads all the way around. Have you guys heard that? I'm looking at maybe some nods. We got some thumbs up there. All right. So I'm gonna show you, or I'm gonna tell you just a pretty cool fact that you can impress your parents with when you guys go home. Owls can rotate their heads almost all the way around. So it's not all the way. It's 3/4 of the way around. So he can look forward and then he can turn his head all the way backwards and then over his other shoulder. But that's as far as he can go. So if you look at a clock on a wall, he can rotate his head from all the way from 12 o'clock all the way to 9 o'clock, but then he has to go forward again. This helps him so when he's sitting on a perch at night, he can look all around him and he doesn't have to move on that perch to look for prey. And if you take a look at our beautiful Orion's face, do you guys see that circle? He looked very briefly. He's got that circle around his face, and that is actually a beautiful face of stiff feathers, and what we call that is a facial disc. Look at that facial disc. Do you guys see that? That acts like a satellite dish, and what it does is that as all the sound is moving towards his face, it's funneling it straight to his ears so he can hear so well. When you guys think of nighttime, it's really, really quiet out at night. So these guys need special hearing so he can hear the patter of mouse feet from like the whole distance of your classroom. It's 90 feet away. If he's on one side, he can hear the patter of mouse feet as a mouse is walking. That's how good their hearing is. And you can see his big, beautiful eyes. His big, dark, beautiful eyes. Really, really well. In fact, I'm going to sneak around and try to show you guys. These guys have such big eyes so that they can collect as much light as possible, that if we had eyes as big as an owl's eyes, this is what we would look like. Check that out! We would have eyes the size of softballs. That's how big his eyes are in his head, so he can see so well when it's night outside. I'm going to tell you very quickly about our handsome Orion here. Like I said, he's 20 years old, and what happened with Orion was he was hatched out in the wild, and there he was so lucky because there was a biologist that was studying his family, and he wanted to know, like, just study everything about barred owls. And one night, a big storm came through and actually knocked his nest over, knocked the whole tree over. And the biologist stayed to watch. And what happened is that Orion's parents never came back because it was really dangerous for them. They just left. And so the biologist took these tiny little baby owls and took them to that wildlife rehabber, that like the type we were talking about before, the wildlife veterinarian. And what they found out was that these birds, they were okay. They knew how to take care of themselves. So they released them out into the wild. But this smart little owl actually came right back to the wildlife hospital. He came right back. He's so smart. So what they did is they took him even further away. They knew that he could hunt, that he could take care of himself. He knows he's an owl. Took him even further away, released him, and then what do you think he did? He actually came, he came right back to the hospital. So what happened with him is that he was exposed to people too much, and he's so smart. He was like, those people are going to feed me. They're going to clean up after me. I don't have to worry about anything. I want to hang out with them. So because of that, he moved in with us at Schlitz Audubon. So he's been with us almost his whole life. And we're so happy to have such a beautiful bird like Orion. So everybody do a nice wave goodbye to our owl friend Orion. Thank you, buddy. And then owls are absolutely captivating. And I could talk forever about them, but I have to keep an eye on that time. I want to play for you, though, what a barred owl says. So listen so very carefully. This is the hoot of a barred owl. I don't know where my speaker is. Did you guys hear that? Have you ever heard that out in the wild before? Maybe? You'd be so lucky if you have. So yes, we're going to play it one more time. Some people say it sounds kind of like they're saying, "Who cooks for you?" Did you guys hear it? Yeah, a little bit, maybe. So now we are focused, of course, on Raptor. We have our Raptor program here and a lot of awesome raptors. But like I said, we actually have some birds here that are not raptors because we find it's really important to be able to teach everybody about a lot of the birds that are out there in the wild. So I am going to introduce you to one of the coolest, smartest bird species in the whole world. So brace yourselves. This is the guy that's been waiting so patiently to meet all of you. It's Loki! This is my buddy Loki. I know that you guys are baffled and you're so in awe because Loki is an American crow. And if I told you that crows were actually some of the most intelligent animals on the planet, would you believe me? These guys are so smart. They live in family groups just like we do. They actually have a language all their own. Everybody in their family has a name. And so they actually talk to each other using each other's names. And more scientists out there are studying crows because it's amazing how smart they are. They make tools. They actually have figured out vending machines. They know how to go fishing, and they are absolutely amazing. Yeah. So our little Loki here is 8 years old, and he's so smart that he wants to showcase something that he has learned, and he thinks he can teach all of you guys. So Loki knows that out in the wild and out in all of the animals' habitats, garbage is a problem. And there's a lot of garbage out there. And one thing we can put, oh, here we go. You guys are going to have to bear with me. I'm going to have to try to figure out the best way to do this. So Loki has learned something that he wants to teach you guys to kind of help reduce all of the trash that's out there. We use a lot of stuff that's like soda cans and water bottles and a lot of things like cardboard that can be recycled. And so I think I see if we can flip this Loki out. So maybe Corinne, if you want to hold that like that. There we go. So he's so smart. He's gonna wait here on his awesome recycling bin, and I'm gonna drink all this soda and hand it over to him. And Loki's gonna help me recycle. Because it's so important to keep wildlife healthy, keep the habitats healthy. And we'll keep going if you guys want to see it a couple more times. So how many of you like drink soda? See? And what do we do with it? We totally recycle it. And water bottles and another soda can. Yeah, he did such a good job. And he's so happy. So thank you. We were thinking of, with raptors, they eat meat and they eat smaller animals. Crows will eat anything. So I'm going to give him a peanut right now because he just did such a good job. But look, little Loki here, he'll get like some rat or some mouse every day. But then he'll also get a fruit salad or a side of vegetables. And then we'll use peanuts, or we'll use, actually dog food is one of his favorite things. And so we can use that when we're training him. And I'm trying to keep an eye on the time, and I think maybe would now be an okay time for some questions.
Yep, that would be great. Thank you so much, Lindsay. That was amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
I love that the crow is named Loki. That's awesome. All right, let's start with Miss Caesar's class. If you guys want to kick us off with a question, go right ahead. Take your time, guys. Just come on up to the computer when you want to say it.
Is it our class? Yes. Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yep, your class. Yep, go ahead.
Sorry.
Hi. My question is, how do the birds react? To be in cages differently than being in the wild?
That is a very, very good question. And so just so that we make sure we all heard it, the question was, how do the birds react in being out in the wild? We make sure here at Schlitz Audubon that each one of our birds has a very, very large enclosure that is all their own. And so they're actually able to move around and perch in different areas. And they actually are very comfortable in them. We make sure that each one has a house inside of their enclosure. And so if they wanted to go into this house, this box, they can. They can also sit outside. So if it's snowing outside or if it's raining, they can actually sit outside in the rain. I'll tell you, most of them do. But then on top of that, we make sure that all of our birds do get some outside time as well. The birds come out and do lots of programs and teach a lot of people. And then we go out, or we can bring them back to Schlitz Audubon, and we can go out with a handler and hang out outside. It's a very good question.
Excellent. All right, Miss Oster's class, I know your audio isn't working for sending in questions, but just go to the top left and write one in, and I'll take your question in just a minute, guys. For now, we'll go to Mr. Workoch's class. You guys have a question? Come on up. Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Workoch, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
I said if you have one of the raptors and if you know which one, the other side of the room,
Guys, I'm sorry, it's really not coming through. Sorry, I don't know why the audio is a little off, but try and write one in while you're doing that. So again, top left bar, you can write the same question in and I'll pass it along. In the meantime, Lindsay, the question we got from Ms. Oster's class was, how do you tame the birds?
Fantastic question, because in captivity, with them living with us, it's not really, it's not natural for them because they're totally wild birds. So we'll tell you that we do not tame them at all. We actually work really hard on building trusting relationships with them so that they have positive experiences whenever they come out and meet the public. So when we get a new bird in who has like just gone, came from the wild, came in through rehab, they have an injury, they have to move in with us. It could take weeks or months for us to show that bird that we are not going to hurt it and spend this time just building a very trusting relationship. We also always treat them like they are wild animals because they are. And so we show them that respect, and through that way, they know that we're not gonna hurt them. So they feel very, very safe with us. And then we give them lots of what we call enrichment when they live with us. So we give them toys, we give them a lot of stuff like newspaper, we give them paper towel rolls, we give them all this stuff that they can just work on shredding. So it keeps their minds nice and sharp. And they also know that like when we're coming around, we're here to give them a lot of gifts.
Excellent. Great answer. So Mr. Workoge's class's question was, can a raptor smell a mouse across a room?
Love that question. Raptors actually do not have a good sense of smell at all. Could you get my skunk? Thank you. So they don't rely on their sense. Well, I will say they might have a little sense of smell, but they do not rely on it whatsoever. In fact, the most important thing is the eyesight or their hearing. So for owls, hearing is the most important thing. An eagle, it's their eyesight. I will tell you that a great horned owl, his favorite food, do you guys know what this is? It's a skunk. And what do we know about skunks? They don't smell good. So if an owl is going to enjoy the skunk, they must not have a good sense of smell at all.
Okay. Let's go to Ms. Price's class. So for the other classes, by the way, you don't need to write in questions. It's just if you have an audio difficulty. So we'll get to you guys in just a second. We'll start with Ms. Price's class. If you guys have a question, go right ahead.
No, I just unmuted it. Okay, so Adrian.
How fast does an owl travel?
Ooh.
How fast does an owl travel?
No, I like that. That's a good question. So owls actually fly pretty slowly. And so they can fly, it depends on your owl, but anywhere between like, I don't know, 15 to 25 miles an hour, just slow flapping flight. So they're actually a slow mover compared to if you think of like the Peregrine Falcon, it's very, very fast. Think about the nighttime and everything's slow and quiet.
Okay, awesome. Let's go to Miss Morin's class. You guys have a question?
Stand right in front of the camera.
Can owls swim? Can owls swim?
Can they swim, Lindsay?
Swim?
Can owls swim?
Owls actually aren't known for their swimming abilities, but I will tell you that some people out there have seen an owl swim. If they were going after something that was in the water, like a duck in the water, and it was too heavy for them to take away, some people have actually seen an owl swimming through the water. What they do is they use big wings, like oars, and they swim like that through the water. It doesn't happen frequently, but they have the ability to come and get out of the water if they need to. There's a video somewhere of that.
All right, let's go to Mr. Kozaczynski's class. Just come on up and demute your mic, guys, and then we're good to go. Sorry. No worries, guys. Just, yeah. There you go. Not yet. You're still muted. And try it. Yeah, no, for some reason your mic's still muted, guys. I don't know. Just little microphone symbol top of your screen. I don't know why it's not working. I'm sure you're clicking it, but we'll get there.
You got us now?
There you go. You should be good.
Okay, go ahead. We wanted to share a fact that we found and then a question. Go ahead. We wanted to share a fact that we found.
All owls live on every continent except Antarctica.
That's true. That is exactly right.
And here's our question.
I learned that eagles can live up to 70 years. Do all raptors live up that long? How about owls?
Fantastic. So yeah, the question is about bald eagles living, how long they live, and then even owls and stuff. I will tell you that if we think of bald eagles out in the wild, they live actually only until about, well, they're pretty old, until like 20 to 25 years old out in the wild. If they are in the care of man, like our birds here, we can actually almost double the lifespan of our birds. So we actually do have 2 eagles that live here with us, and they can live into their own 40s with us, almost 50. So when it comes to how long raptors live in the wild, one good rule is the larger the bird, the longer they're going to live. So an eagle has a very long lifespan. A great horned owl, which is still big bird, can live to be early 20s, late teens. And then a small bird, like a small little owl, might only live to be about 6 years old. So it's always just, yeah, think size, bigger bird, lives longer. Think size, bigger bird, lives longer.
Before we go to the last class's question and then go through again, what was that fact again? Could you repeat it for us just in case the other kids didn't hear it about the owl that lives on every continent?
Them or me?
Yeah.
Oh, me?
You.
Okay. So it was the barn owl lives on every continent except for Antarctica, which is an awesome fact. In fact, barn owls, which are these beautiful kind of whitish birds with this beautiful heart shape, are one of the most widespread bird species all over the entire world.
Very cool. All right. Thank you so much. And let's go to Miss Shelton's class. Just come on up and demute your mic, guys. While you're doing that, Miss Oster and Mr. Workoch, if you guys want to type in a second question, I think you already have Miss Oster, which is great. But then I can pass those on when we get to you guys in a minute. But yeah, so Miss Shelton, take your time and we'll be great. You're good.
Hello.
Go.
Go ahead. Hi, my name is Zoe, and my question is,
Super loud.
has a bird ever attacked you?
So
Get it?
yeah, well, I did. I got that question. The question was, has a bird ever attacked? Which is a good question because we're working with very powerful animals that are wild animals. But I am lucky to say that I've never been attacked by any of our birds. And that goes back to when they first join us. We spend a lot of time building that trusting relationship. And so I give them any space that they need. And if their body language tells me that they're a little unhappy, I respect that. And it makes us work very, very well together. But we always take a lot of care when we work with the birds that we take a lot of care when we work with the birds that we
Awesome. Sorry if there's a little delay, guys. So Lindsay, just so you know, if there's any weird audio stuff, when you respond, it takes about 10 seconds for it to kick in. That's totally fine. Just let you know.
Okay.
Let's go back to Miss Caesar's class. If you guys have a question.
What is your favorite bird and why? What is your favorite bird and why?
We'll see if that helps.
Yep.
So
favorite bird. What's your favorite bird? Yeah.
That is a tough question. I love all of them. I will say that I very much enjoy working with our American crow, Loki, because he is so intelligent. And so he is actually able to put puzzles together. He paints. We can work on a lot of stuff and do a lot of training together. So he's probably my favorite bird to work with. But when it comes to being able to teach about teach about the birds, I love teaching about the crows. I love teaching about all of them because they all have a very special role that they play in the environment. And so I'm very, very lucky to be able to work with them.
Awesome. All right. Miss Oster's class asks, how long are an eagle's talons?
That's a great question. I'm going to bring our foot back. Bald eagles do have very, very long talons. And it depends on the size of your eagle, but it's about like 2 to 3 inches. And this is the big one. So our eagle feet, you see how there are 3 toes in front and 1 big toe in back? This big toe in back is the strongest. And it does a lot of the damage. And so what we really always look at is this big, what we call, these claws are called, well, they're called talons. This big toe in the back is called the hallux. And if you see, like on my hand right here, so it's about 2 to 3 inches for a bald eagle talon. The ones in front are a little smaller.
Cool. And then Mr. Workoch's class asks, how do raptors react to new people?
That's a great question. Our birds react very, very comfortably when we are going to classrooms, we're going to big festivals, going out to the public and meeting people. They react really well because we've kind of built that trusting relationship and we make everything really positive for them. When they are at their, we have their own personal facility where they live, and that is their home territory, just like they would have out in the wild. So this is their territory. So we are very aware of that when we have some new people that might be coming in to help out with the birds. The birds are a little nervous when there are people around in their territory that they don't know. And so that's just another one of those reasons why we work on building those trusting relationships. They know the handlers and they know the people that work with them on a daily basis, more than if some complete stranger walked in. So we just make sure that we're aware of it.
Excellent. All right, let's go to Miss Morin's class again. Oh, you wrote it in, but you can ask it instead.
Okay, come on up. We're coming, sorry.
Oh, take your time, no hurry.
How do owls get their colors?
How do owls get their colors?
Yeah.
You guys heard of that scientific word? It starts with a C, and it's what colors animals wear to help them blend into the environment. Do you guys know that word? I bet you do.
You know the word.
Yeah, what is it, Jesse?
Two hands, occasionally, okay.
So that wonderful word is camouflage. So an owl will wear the colors that will help it blend into its surroundings. And I have this really cool picture here to show you. All right. You guys see this? I'm gonna back it up just a little bit. So this, probably see the reflection of my computer screen instead. But this is actually a little screech owl that lives here in the wild at Schlitz Audubon. So this picture was taken of it, and it lives like right outside the Nature Center, and it visits us every winter. And do you see the beautiful colors on this tree? It's this beautiful gray color. This screech owl is also gray. And he blends, it's probably, I don't know if my camera is showing it pretty well, but he blends well into this tree. And he just fills this cavity, this hole that's in this tree, and he can sleep there all day and nobody even sees him. So the colors that they wear are for great camouflage.
Excellent. All right, let's go to Miss Price's class. You guys have a question?
Okay, Madison, do you want to come over?
Does Loki know any other tricks?
Loki knows a lot of tricks. Like I was saying before, so he does this recycling thing. He knows how to paint. And so what he does is he paints pictures. He has his own little paint brushes and he paints on a canvas. And then we can sell those paintings so that we can raise money for the raptors so that we can help feed them. And so he does that to help his feathered family. We have puzzle boxes that he learns how to like put the shapes into the particular holes. He knows a lot of tricks. Yeah. Maybe one day we can just do an all Loki class.
One day we can.
Right.
Tomorrow. Come back. No. But any day soon. Let's finish off with the last question for Mr. Kozaczynski's class. If you guys want to come up, go right ahead.
I'm missing something.
All right. Go ahead. Let's go.
How long can raptors stay in the air?
How long can they stay in the air?
Yeah, while they're hunting for food.
Ah. So they can stay in the air for pretty long if they have air to help them. So I will tell you, flying takes a lot of energy. So if you guys imagined you would like flap, flap, flap your wings for hours, you'd get pretty tired, right? You get so tired. So what they can do is they can use like the winds or air rising up, like hot air as it rises. And all they have to do is just put their wings out like this. And then they can just soar on the air, on those, what we call thermals, which are the hot air rising from the ground. So they can do that for a very, very long time. Flap flight is really, really exhausting. So most of our raptors actually just perch in one place. Like think of like a red-tailed hawk. Red-tailed hawks, they're everywhere. So they really like to perch in one place, and then they wait, and they just use their eyesight to they wait for their food to move around, and then all they have to do is just fly down and pounce on it. And that is how a lot of our raptors actually like to hunt. Beyond that, they just like to perch.
Awesome. All right, Lindsay, what I like to do before we end every hangout is, can you tell the classes where they can learn more information if they're interested in seeing pictures and seeing video and learning more? Go for it.
Yeah, so I am actually right now going to put the link to our website right here in this chat on the side. And what you would be able to do is visit that website. It has a page on it that's all about raptors. It's all about our raptors. So you can actually click on each, you can say, go to meet our raptors, and you can click on them, and it will teach you a little bit about each of the birds that lives here at Schlitz Audubon. And we also have a blog that is on our website. And if you do a search, you can go to raptors or birds, and some of these blog posts will pop up so you can learn a little bit more just about these birds out in the wild.
Excellent. May I say, too, that having just gone to that website for the classes, that they have birds called Windchill McLeod and Baron von Screech, which are the greatest things of all time. So without further ado, again, what we do at the end of every hangout is I'm going to demute every class's microphone. So Miss Caesar, Mr. Warkoch, Miss Price, Miss Morin, Mr. Kozaczynski, if you could join me in saying a huge thank you to Lindsay. Thank you so much, Lindsay. That was outstanding. Awesome, guys. Lindsay, that was amazing. We love seeing the Raptors. What a great show. We look forward to having you back very, very soon. To all our classes, please do look up Schlitz Audubon, their Instagram page, their website, their blog, and everything. And we look forward to having you guys back soon. So yeah, guys, have a lovely rest of the day. And thanks so much, Lindsay. That was wonderful.
Thank you.